The former acting director of the FBI says he is willing to testify before Congress about the investigation he ordered into President Trump. In an interview promoting his new book, Andrew McCabe told NBC News he notified congressional leaders about the counterintelligence probe that was launched in the days after the firing of James Comey.
I know you and other members of your team briefed the so-called Gang of Eight. These are the leaders of Congress in the days after Comey was fired about the Russia investigation. So it would have been the majority leader of the Senate, Mitch McConnell, Speaker of the House, Paula Reid, and Democratic counterparts. Did you tell them that you had opened a counterintelligence investigation into President Trump?
The purpose of the briefing was to let our congressional leadership know exactly what we'd been doing. Opening a case of this nature, not something that an FBI director, not something that an acting FBI director would do by yourself, right? This was a recommendation that came to me from my team. I reviewed it with our lawyers. I discussed it at length with the Deputy Attorney General, and I told Congress what we had done.
Did anyone object?
That's the important part here, Savannah. No one objected, not on legal grounds, not on constitutional grounds, and not based on the facts.
Let's talk about
CBS News Washington correspondent Paula Reid is with us now from the White House. Hi, Paula. McCabe said congressional leadership raised no issue with the investigation when he told them about it. Does that blunt some of the criticism McCabe has been receiving from certain officials who question whether McCabe was committing treason?
Well, there's two different lines of criticism. One is against McCabe's credibility and whether or not anything he says should be believed. We have to remember, he was fired from the FBI for lying to FBI investigators in the course of an internal investigation. He was fired the day before he was eligible for his pension. He is now under criminal investigation for lying to the FBI. He could face additional charges. So this is someone who has been found by his own agency to not be fully truthful. He clearly has an axe to grind here, and he has a family to feed. He lost his pension. He needs to sell books. So, Tanya, everything he says needs to be treated with some skepticism. And that's a lot of what you're hearing off the Hill. But then there's this other line of attack that he was allegedly involved in a coup attempt. That's the Republicans' new talking point here. And the idea that these investigations were motivated by partisan concerns. So the fact that he says he briefed the Gang of Eight, which included Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Devin Nunes, then House Speaker Paul Ryan, the fact that there were Republicans present for this announcement and none of them objected, that sort of undercuts that theory and that argument. That, coupled with the fact that the then Attorney General, the then Deputy Attorney General, the new FBI Director, and even Special Counsel Robert Mueller are all Republicans, several of whom were appointed by the president.
So, Paula, if McCabe gets called into Congress to testify, what lines of questioning would you expect him to face?
I think you'd hear a lot of Republicans really pressing him on this issue of the 25th Amendment and how serious the Deputy Attorney General was when he raised this. Sources I've spoken with say this was raised, but it was not a serious pursuit. They said, look, no one in their right mind would have thought in May of 2017 that Jeff Sessions, John Kelly, Steve Mnuchin, a majority of the president's cabinet, and Vice President Mike Pence would seriously be willing to support an effort to oust the president. At no point did they say was this ever a serious concern. Now, McCabe has said a few different things. He said this was brought up, it was serious, but Tanya, it's important to note he didn't include this in the book. So I think in any sort of hearing that he participates in, lawmakers are really going to want to drill down on those claims in addition to these allegations that he has made about Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein wanting to wear a wire. I think Republicans are going to want to paint him as someone who is just a symptom of a partisan Justice Department. And then Democrats, though, may try to sort of paint him in a different light as someone who was punished for trying to independently investigate the president. It would be a bruising hearing either way.
Absolutely. And Paula, speaking of Rod Rosenstein, you have some reporting to share with us about the Deputy Attorney General who oversaw the Mueller investigation. What can you tell us?
That's right. He is expected to leave his post in about a month, in mid-March. We have been reporting for quite some time that William Barr requested to be able to select his own deputy as part of a condition to accepting the job as Attorney General. We've been reporting for quite some time that it was expected that Rod Rosenstein would stay on for a little while after Barr was confirmed to ensure a smooth transition. So there are some questions about whether or not Rosenstein's official announcement of a timeline for his departure, whether or not that is in any way connected to the 60 Minutes interview with McCabe and his book tour. But Justice Department officials deny that, and I would also point to our previous reporting, which extends back to January, about this timeline. Now, his successor is expected to be announced by Attorney General William Barr as soon as this week.
Paula Reid at the White House, thank you.